Hi there, welcome to BoomerTube's podcast, the place for baby boomers to come play with your own age group. I'm Deb, and I'm your host. Before we get into today's show, I want to make sure to let you know that we would love to make your story a part of our podcast. So please visit our website for information on how to submit stories or music. If you have a unique, funny, or poignant anecdote about growing up, your teenage years, music, cars, dating, your parents, anything you think our listeners might enjoy, send it to us. We're boomers, and most of us were raised by the greatest generation, an exceptional group of people who deserve our enduring respect. Okay, let's get to it. Remember Higbee's department store in A Christmas Story? The one that displayed the Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle that Ralphie fell in love with? My childhood memories include a store like that, and if memory serves, it was very similar in a lot of ways to the Higbee store, which, by the way, became a Dillard's in 1992.
Ah, there it is. The holy grail of Christmas gifts, the Red Ryder 200-shot range model air rifle.
There were some pretty impressive department stores in downtown Boise when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s. J.C. Penney, the Cash Bazaar, the Mode, and Falk's all were within a few blocks of one another in Boise. I remember them all as being wondrous places to explore. Each had their own specialties and unique personalities. I would normally dig my heels in when Mom insisted I go shopping with her. It was usually for school clothes. As a tomboyish girl with better things to do, shopping was not high on my list of priorities. But when it came to this particular store, I was always ready to go. There are a handful of reasons C.C. Anderson's remains so special in my memories. Boise businessman C.C. Anderson built his department store in 1927. He had learned the retail business in Colorado, alongside his co-worker, J.C. Penney. Both young men revolutionized the retail department store concept and compiled great fortunes. By 1950, Mr. Anderson had a chain of 34 stores. The store was designed with pedestrian activity and consumerism in mind. While there was enough room for pedestrians to walk in front of it, the layout was also meant to catch their eye and encourage them to stop and admire the products and displays in the store windows.
This Monday only, go to the Marche for big savings for back to school and more, like 30% on girls and misses.
He named the store Anderson's Golden Rule, but almost no one called it that. It was commonly referred to as C.C. Anderson's, or simply Anderson's, and it was a kid magnet. The grand old man himself roamed the aisles in his elegant suits, their pockets filled with candy for young customers. He threw pennies to kids he saw on the streets. His mansion on Warm Springs Avenue was a must for trick-or-treaters. Mr. Anderson and his wife Henrietta never had children of their own, but were very fond of children, and answered the door themselves, passing out the best Halloween treats in town. Anderson's had some of Boise's first escalators. For those of us who weren't model children, it was a pleasant diversion to run up and down in the wrong direction, which many of us did on a regular basis. The Empire Room was a popular restaurant on the mezzanine level of the store, and it rivaled any other restaurant in town. They had fabulous sandwiches, burgers, and wonderful flavored Cokes. There was a record department next to the Empire Room, which was a huge hit with teens and preteens. When I got older, I learned that my mom had worked in the advertising department at the store during World War II. As a matter of fact, my dad trained to fly B-17 bombers at Gowan Field in Boise, and he would meet my mom at the restaurant for lunch dates. Later, when Dad was a guest of the Third Reich, Mom set up interviews in the store with local radio stations, where she and other wives talked about their husbands' experiences to help sell war bonds. In 1962, C.C. Anderson's became the Bon Marche. Macy's bought the store in 2003 and briefly named it Bon Macy's. In 2004, it became known as Macy's. And in 2010, as part of their budget cuts, Macy's closed 5 locations, including Boise's downtown Macy's. And the Andersons and Bon Marche of my childhood years was gone. Poof. I recently watched a video that was posted by a commercial real estate company, and I watched as a small group of what I assume were potential buyers walked through the levels of the old building. As soon as I saw those escalators in the video, eerily dormant, the memories came flooding back. Stopping for lunch in the Empire Room during a holiday shopping trip with my mom. Staring with amazement at all the elaborate Christmas decorations throughout the store. And smiling to my 10-year-old self, knowing that later that evening my dad would make his yearly last-minute trip to the store in search of silk stockings and Chanel No. 5 for my mom. It was a magical time. Thanks to IdahoArchitectureProject.org and the Rotary Club of Boise for additional information. And a special thank you to our friend Tim Woodward, renowned Idaho writer and expert on all things Boise, for allowing us to use information from his article, Empty Building, Priceless Memories. Thanks, Tim. If you've listened to our previous podcast, you know we like to showcase original music, written and performed by our listeners. We play this episode's song here, then post it at BoomerTube where you can download it. The name of the artist and their contact information is posted there as well. And speaking of Tim Woodward, this episode we're excited to welcome Tim and his group, The Mystics, back to the show. The Mystics are the Boise area's longest-running classic rock group. The group includes some of the Valley's best classic rock musicians, Lawson Hill, Rico Wiseman, Don Cunningham, and founding member and longtime newspaper columnist Tim Woodward. They have been the mainstay of the music scene in southern Idaho since the 60s, filling popular dance halls like the Miramar Ballroom and holding their own with other Idaho bands such as Dick Cates and the Chessmen and Paul Revere and the Raiders. The Mystics are the only Treasure Valley classic rock group with an original member, and still playing the music they love, classic rock, plus some newer tunes to keep things interesting. The band's extensive repertoire includes hits from the 60s by the Beatles, Rolling Stones, the Byrds, Everly Brothers, CCR, Buffalo Springfield, and more. And because audiences are getting younger, newer hits by Tom Petty, the Traveling Wilburys, and Huey Lewis and others have been added to the set list. I'm excited to share my hometown favorites with you, the Mystics. 5 decades and still rockin'. Please listen to a cut from the Mystics' 2015 album, Now and Then, called How It Never Was.
City was a simple town, a whitewashed place where nothing bad went down, at least as far as I could see. But time went by, eyes grew wider, vision came to me. The boring things I was supposed to be, I knew I had to leave into another world, another universe unfurled, where my soul could be assured that's how it never was. Back in school, I didn't know just what to think of me, how to act or what to want to be. But I knew I'd never make the team. So I tuned it out and chose a path I thought would set me free, based on rhyme and harmony and things that I could feel. 'Cause the never was. Oh, that's how it never was. That's how it never was. Yeah, that's how it never was. Oh, that's how it never was. That's how it never was. Oh, that's how it never was. That's how it never was. That's how it never was. That's how it never was.
You just heard How It Never Was. A big thank you once again to Tim Woodward and the Mystics for sharing their music with us. We love to hear and play original music, so if you're listening and you're an artist, I hope this inspires you to send us yours. We like to keep it classic like rock, country, or the blues, but if you've got a tune representing another genre or an instrumental, we'd love to hear it. You'll find guidelines for submitting music to us at BoomerTube.com. Please make it a recording with a group or an instrument. Put on your best voice. Let us help you showcase your work because you never know who might be listening. And as we mentioned at the top of the program, we would love to make your story a part of our podcast. I'd love to hear from you. If you've enjoyed our podcast, it would mean a lot to us if you would share it with your friends and family. Once again, the website is BoomerTube.com. And you can email me at deb@boomertube.com. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, come play with your own age group. Deb out.